We'll take you now to the Cowboys rumors. First up, are Ezekiel, Elliott, and Dak Prescott done for the rest of the preseason? Well, if you ask Jerry Jones, it's 4 stars, but I'm not quite as convinced here. In reality, I don't think you're going to see Zeke play at all, and for this rumor in particular, I'll give it 3 stars. So Zeke, I think, is not going to play at all. I'll actually give that one 4 stars. Dak Prescott, I'm not quite as convinced, so I'll give it 2 stars there. Add them together, you end up with 3 stars there. Simple math. Jones says he doesn't want to see Zeke or Dak because he feels comfortable that those guys have played enough. And again, I don't think you'll see Zeke on the field, but I still think Prescott could actually kind of use some more reps to get some more chemistry with wide receivers. Guys like Dante Thompson, Tavon Austin, Cole Beasley, maybe not Cole so much, but they've missed a little bit of time. So from the Cowboys' perspective, I am okay giving Dak more preseason reps, but I don't think it needs to be a full half. In reality, he kind of got that last week. I'm fine with it being a quarter at most for the Cowboys. They've looked pretty efficient, pretty solid there, despite having some guys hurt. And most importantly, I don't like the idea of Dak Prescott hanging out there for a long time with Joe Looney and Kadeem Edwards on the interior of the offensive line. I will be cautious. I would say, yeah, you can give him some reps, but it really shouldn't be all that many. All right, next up, George Iloka. Is he going to come to the Dallas Cowboys? This is a 4-star rumor in my heart, but in reality, I think it's only a 1 star. I just don't think it's going to go down. If I were in charge of the Cowboys, I would have signed Iloka instantly. Of course, I would have already had a safety, but the Cowboys do have interest here in getting George Iloka. The issue is for Iloka and for the Cowboys is that, well, the Cowboys signed 2 safeties today, as I mentioned earlier in the show, Jerron Johnson and Dominique Sanders. They will not get into a bidding war with Iloka either. The Cowboys, since they've signed 2 safeties, and oh, by the way, one more note here on Iloka, he's been rather outspoken about his support for those who have knelt during the national anthem, which, as we know, will not go over well with Mr. Jerry Jones. So I think there's interest there. The Cowboys seem hesitant to throw money at safeties right now, and the way Jason Garrett has spoke makes it seem like they're really confident in their top 3 guys, and they're not overly concerned about the 4th option. I'd sign him in a heartbeat. He can play free safety and strong safety. He's exactly what the Cowboys have said they want in a safety, a guy that can play both high and low in terms of the safety spots there. I'd sign him in a heartbeat. I'm putting in there a 1. I think they definitely should sign George Iloka, but I don't consider it all that likely, even though I really wish the Cowboys would go out and do that. All right, we'll keep it rolling here with some more rumors. Stick with the secondary theme here. Is Byron Jones going to stay at cornerback? Well, 4 stars on this one, thank goodness. Chris Richard was not playing around. He was asked about it, like, hey, could the Cowboys move Byron back to safety? And Chris Richard goes, Byron plays corner, Byron plays corner, Byron plays corner, Byron plays corner. 4 stars, simple fact here. You're not going to see Byron Jones move back to safety. And frankly, thank goodness. He's looked good on the outside. I would much rather put Byron at cornerback, as I've been saying for quite some time. That is a more natural fit for Byron Jones at the cornerback spot rather than safety. Folks, today's clothing is provided by Mizzen and Main. If you want your own super comfortable dress shirt, go to comfortable.af because these shirts are indeed comfortable as F. All right, next up on our Cowboys Rumors Roundup is Xavier Woods out for Week 1. Not official yet by any means, but it does certainly seem that way. 3 stars on this one. Jerry Jones came out and said that they didn't think the Cowboys would have Woods for Week 1. Says he's looking forward to his year, but, quote, we probably won't have him for the first game, but I think we'll be fine back there. That leaves Jeff Heath and Kevon Frazier as your starters at the back end. Heath as more of the free safety, Kevon Frazier as your strong safety box guy. I, frankly, am very worried about the safety spot right now because with no Woods in Week 1, these are your starters, Frazier and Heath, but God forbid someone gets hurt. Are you going to throw out an undrafted first-year guy in Tyree Robinson or Cam Kelly? Robinson has looked better than Kelly. Kelly couldn't cut it at cornerback, got moved to safety, hasn't looked all that great. And as I've said many times on this show, the Cowboys' defense on the second and third teams have been really bad, especially the secondary. Go out and sign George Iloka, but the Cowboys don't seem all that interested. Next up, are Zach Martin and Travis Frederick going to play in Week 1 of the season? I'm going to give this one 3 stars. Now, we'll talk more about the report about Frederick in a second, but Jerry Jones says he thinks Martin and Frederick should play in Week 1. I feel relatively confident about Zach Martin in particular right now. He avoided the serious knee injury. Sounds like he's going to be fine. Travis Frederick, though, continues to deal with stingers. Jones says the second opinion that Frederick got was positive, but as we move now to our next rumor, maybe it wasn't, or maybe the Cowboys aren't super sold on that one. Could Travis Frederick undergo surgery? I will give this one just a 1 star, but there is a bit of kernel of truth to this. Namely, the report from the Dallas Morning News was that despite Jerry Jones' comments, the team itself and Frederick haven't decided on a plan yet. They're not super sure, A, and I think what the exact injury is right now, B, how severe it could become, or D, what they're going to do with Travis Frederick. So the report from the Dallas Morning News was at the very end, because the Cowboys haven't figured out their plan, surgery has not been ruled out. Now, that is, I think, a bit of an overstatement to what's going on right now. I don't think it's more of a, oh, there could be surgery. It's less of, we're not super sure yet, so we're not ruling anything out at all. I don't consider surgery likely. I think this is more of a, hey, we're gonna be cautious here. Surgery is not on the table in terms of an ideal or even likely outcome, but it is something that could go down. So I don't think it's all that likely, but we will continue to monitor, and hopefully he's okay, because I only put it at a 3 or a 4 right now for my scale of, concern. But you need Travis Frederick out on the field if the Cowboys want to win games. They need him at center. He is the premier player at that position in the NFL. All right, next up on our rumors roundup is Rico Gathers going to get some first-team work in week 3 of the preseason. We'll break that down after a quick word from our sponsor, The Guild. Three stars on this one coming from Todd Archer, who says that Rico might get some more playing time and could get some more playing time with the first team unit. Actually got some on yesterday's practice, caught a little hot route check down pass from Dak Prescott. So there are really 2 ways to look at this for Rico Gathers in terms of how this will impact his chances of making the roster. Now, note, first of all here, if the Cowboys are serious about Rico making the roster, the best thing is to naturally give him first-team reps. And maybe this would give Rico a real shot at making the team. In reality, he has been stuck behind Dalton Schultz, behind Jeff Swain, behind Blake Jarwin in no particular order on the Cowboys depth. But the Cowboys, folks, are keeping those first 3 guys. It's a matter of whether or not they take a 4th tight end. And if Rico actually gets the reps with the first team and looks competent, namely in the red zone of the passing game, maybe he can force the Cowboys' hand. But there's also another possibility here for the Cowboys. Could the Cowboys be showcasing Rico Gathers for a trade? I tweeted this out last night. It was less controversial than I thought it was going to be. I'll give it 2 stars for now. Still more on the speculation side of things from my end. But it does make some sense. The Cowboys, for starters, have listed Rico as their number 3 tight end on the team's official depth charts, even though he hasn't actually been the team's number 3 tight end based on the reps in the preseason games. Now, the number 1 rule in reality, folks, of roster management is if you're going to cut somebody, you try and trade them first. Now, the number 1 way to do that is to inflate or make it seem like you value them more. Step 1, put him higher on the team's depth chart. Step 2 is to actually showcase that player. The Cowboys can do that in week 3 of the preseason. Now, the comments by Jerry Jones and by others have hinted the team isn't really all that committed to Rico Gathers. You don't have to take my word for it. You can listen to what Jerry Jones said last night, or not last night, or this week, when he says the angst comes when you cut Rico, or you keep Rico to cut somebody else, which is the exact opposite of how the Cowboys should feel. But I don't think the Cowboys staff is truly committed to Rico Gathers in the same way that they were earlier. Dalton Schultz, in reality, has kind of become the Cowboys' new pet project at tight end alongside of Blake Jarwin. So I would put Rico on the 53-man roster over a guy like Lance Lenoir, over a Noah Brown, but I don't think the Cowboys feel that way. And if that's the case, they could very well showcase Gathers in week 3, hype up everyone around Rico and even the fans too, and then try and trade him and get something back in exchange. Folks, trying to get to 5K subscribers on our Cowboys Report channel. We've passed 2K mark. Thank you all very much. 5K is the next benchmark there. Head to chatsports.com/CowboysTV to subscribe. It'll take you right into the subscribe page. Thank you all who've already done so on the Cowboys Report. All right, one last rumor here is Sean Lee among the most underrated NFL players. 4 stars. It is a fact, F-A-C-K, just like Jim Harbaugh spells it. I will fight anyone who argues with me on this. There are few players more valuable to their defense than Sean Lee. He is an instrumental player to the Cowboys, and if you don't like Sean Lee, I we are not friends. I'm sorry. Just take a look at the last 3 years with Sean Lee versus without Sean Lee in the field. It is astonishing. The last 3 years with Sean Lee on the field for the Dallas Cowboys, they have allowed 19.6 points per game and 278 yards. Without Sean Lee, it's 32.7 and 376. So about 100 yards and 2 touchdowns difference. It's not a surprise then that, Sean Lee, when he's on the field, the Cowboys are 8-2 and 1-5 without him. The Cowboys need Sean Lee on the field, and if you ignore the injuries and go across a 16-game season, no player has had more tackles than Sean Lee. If you ignore the injuries, Sean Lee is a no-doubt top 3 off-ball linebacker, i.e. no pass rushers. He is definitely among the most underrated players in the NFL.